Hey, we're live. I do
We're
that every
live.
time. I push the button and then I got started daydreaming. And hi, Michelle. What's happening?
What's happening? So, a lot's always going on Maui. Tomorrow is Kihei's fourth Friday. Hello, Amber.
Hi, Amber.
Hello, hello.
Amber's driving. Hey, Amber, we're hearing a little bit of static from you. So if you could just mute your phone
Okay, you got
while
it.
we're driving until you got something to say. And I know you always have stuff to say. But anyway, so Michelle, you were talking about tomorrow's fourth Friday. I saw that in our activities. And
Yeah,
they have live music there, right? On the main, they have like they roll a trailer in and do live music.
yeah, always live music, tons of vendors, food trucks, and
Classic cars.
everybody comes out. Classic cars. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I haven't been there in a while. Maybe one of these days I'll make our way back. I think I'm going to dinner down the block with some friends, so maybe we'll stumble in there by accident. So, what else is happening?
So yesterday I saw something at the shops. There was a bunch of people out doing yoga, and apparently every Wednesday at 5:30 they do yoga for free. I think
In
it's
the
hosted
courtyard.
by Lululemon. Yeah,
Oh,
right
that's
in
cool.
right in the courtyard. So if you
And
ever
I
happen
heard
to be
today at the
there,
shops, our office was evacuated. I just got a message that our office was evacuated because apparently they're working on the new restaurant next door, and they hit a gas line. So hopefully our office is still there. But so be careful when
so
you're digging.
don't
Call.
stop by there today, I
Don't
guess.
stop by and see me at the office today. No. So, um,
Michelle, you said the yoga was hosted by who?
By Lululemon.
Nice.
so yes, maybe one of these days I'll have Amber give me a private yoga session so I can go to a public yoga session and not be embarrassed.
Yes.
Because Amber is our resident yogi. Yogi, is that what we really call you? A yogi?
Yeah, you
Oh,
could say that if
Amber,
you
you're
wanted to. I prefer just.
okay.
Yeah, Amber teaches Wednesday nights as well.
Yes, at Hot Yoga Maui, right?
Yeah, at
So,
Maui Hot Yoga off of Lapoa Street in Kihei.
how hot does this
And
room? Do you get the room, Amber?
let's see, last night we had about, it matters how many people are there. Certainly the more people that are there, the hotter it gets. Last night we had about 24 people, and I happened to show up a full hour before class because I do like it extra hot as well. My guess would be 90, maybe 100 degrees.
Huge.
100 degrees.
I bet it smells beautiful in there about
Yeah,
an hour in.
absolute
Cool.
roses always, before
Yes.
and after. And Michelle has been as well, so she's participated and come to class. Can you hear me better now that I'm pulled over? I'm in the worst
We
spot.
still have a real lot of static in when your mic's on, Amber. Sorry. There, that's more better. And Michelle just stepped out for a second. So a couple other things that are going on. We got every Saturday is the swap meet in the at the college, which I always every once in a while we go over there and check it out. Great souvenirs, the swap meet, and then every Saturday as well up in Kula is the farmers market, which is always a fun little event to go to. Lots of fresh fruit and food and vendors that um, we enjoy that. Some days we'll actually do both of them. Start early, head up country, head down to the swap, and make it a nice Saturday morning of goofing off. So, and what else? Oh, and then the Stampede's coming in. I saw that. Now, I'm not sure. It said that there's a country concert, and the Stampede, the Maui Stampede, the rodeo is starting on Saturday, the 24th, and I think it goes through the 1st, but I'm not really sure. So if you're interested in that, you have to search. But it's the Makawao Rodeo, and I heard too that it was going to be televised on something this year. Oh, somebody, did you hear that? Either one of you ladies? Or was I somewhere else they were talking about the Stampede being televised?
I'm not sure if it's televised, but I did want to make mention that Stephanie, one of our teammates, had written a great blog about the Makawao Rodeo last year. So if you're looking for more information, I believe you can search that on the Hawaii Live site.
That's right. We should have had
Yeah.
Steffi out here today. She's got her kids. They're off school, so she's hanging with the kids a little bit more. So we understand being a mom is more important. And oh, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was way cool. Uncle Wayne and the Howling Dog Band. So when my kids were little, we would go and watch Uncle Wayne perform, and he's just the most awesome. He's got this great band, and they sing to the kids, and he's so fun. And he's performing at the local libraries, and I know he's playing Saturday at the Kihei Library from 9:30 to 10:30 in the morning. If you got little kids, and if you haven't seen Uncle Wayne, you just need to go see him because he's just a hoot, and he's so much fun to watch. And I would definitely encourage that. And then on the other side of the spectrum, tomorrow night, Rebel Soldiers are playing at the Mac, and they've got an album release for their 5th album coming out. So that should be a blast of a show as well. To pick it up at the Mac. I don't know if there's still availability for that, but that starts around 5:30. So that's probably when
Cool.
the gates open.
Also coming up at the Mac is the Maui Film Festival. That's going to be happening starting on June 28th.
Film festival is always cool. They do it under the stars, and I don't know if they're doing it. It said in their notes when I was reading that they also do it in Wailea. So I think it's in the Celestial Cinema, and then over at the Wailea Blue Course up on the driving range.
Oh, very cool.
On the Gold and Emerald course, not the Blue course. My mistake. The Gold and Emerald course, and they have the Celestial Cinema up on the driving range. So be on the lookout for that as well. So lots of things happening, and then just on any given night, there's several restaurants that we'll have live music. So Tommy Bahamas always has live entertainment when you're up there for dinner around 6 o'clock. Maui Brew Co., Mala Wharf, all of those places always have great local
Maui Ocean Vodka Up Country, they do
Maui
it
Ocean
too.
Rock, they do it. So lots of fun places to go and do stuff like that. So, and then let's talk about stats. Amber's back. Welcome back, Amber. So it was pretty interesting. I was looking at the stats today, and I realized that we've been doing these calls it's been over probably 2 years now that we've been jumping on every Thursday, or maybe the days have changed a little bit, but we've been doing this for around 2 years, but we've been doing our stats since May of 2022, which means we have over a year's worth of data. And it was pretty neat to look where we compare for a year ago this week to this week, and we're at it's pretty crazy. There's not too much difference. Short-term rentals pending 42 a year ago this week and 42 right now. So the pendings are staying consistent. We do have more inventory this year than over last year. We're about 39 active units in short-term rental condos, where a year ago we only had 29, but we still have 42 pending. So if you hear people saying, oh, the market's tanked, the market's down, the reason the market's down is not for lack of desire, but for lack of inventory. So it's really been an interesting dynamic on how that's affecting our world. Pending, we're at 42 today, I said 42. We're at 47 a year ago. When it goes to under $600,000, the numbers are almost identical, except we have one pending this year and 2 active. A year ago, we had 5 pending. So there was more inventory coming in. We're just seeing way less inventory under $600,000, which is interesting and challenging at the same time. For long-term active condos, that's a condo that you could live in, or we could only rent for 6 months or more, no Airbnb or VRBO. We have 42 active. A year ago, we only had 29 active. So that inventory count has definitely gone up from a year ago. Pending, though, is pretty similar. We're 19 pending right now and 21 pending a year ago. When it comes to homes, we have 44 active, and last year we had 52 active. So our inventory has actually gone down in homes. And then pending, we're pretty close. It's 21 pending right now, and 26 were pending a year ago. So less inventory and still similar amount of sold or pendings. And then under $1 million, we have 2 active, and that's been pretty consistent, 2, 3, or 4 for months and months. And pending, we have 4 under $1 million pending, A year ago, we had 8 under $1 million pending. So I just like to point that out. It's interesting. We are so low on inventory compared to where we've been. I've said this months ago, our inventory continues to drop. The new listings that we're getting into the market, I monitor it every day. And this past week, we were down to 10 and 11 new listings for a 7-day cycle, which is just crazy low. Now, this morning I opened it up and we were at 16 or 17. But what tends to happen is the new listings hit and they disappear almost immediately if they're priced well, because there are certain segments of the market that are super desirable and in demand. Especially like a listing came up at $1.1 million in the Pialani Village. It was gone in 2 days. So that's what we're seeing happening. There's still a lot of demand. People are saying, well, what about the interest rates? And the interest rates definitely have played a factor, but people still need to buy real estate. They want to buy real estate, and they're figuring out how to work through the interest rates. If you're, some folks have said, well, I want to wait for the interest rates to come back down. And well, that's probably not going to happen back at that 2 or 3%. And if and when the interest rates do come back down, what the adverse effect of that is the prices are going to go back up. So it's pick your poison, I guess. What I'd like to say is you're better off probably buying when the interest rates are high. And then if the rates come down, then you refinance when you have that opportunity, and you're going to be buying at a better price. So, ladies, I've been talking for a long time. Any thoughts on all of that? Is that a clear no?
I just think good advice. Can you hear me okay, Tom?
Yes, we can.
I just think I just want to reiterate what you said. I think that's very good care, very good counsel, and it's really looking, as we discussed in our team meetings. I mean, it's really looking at your long-term goals, and if your long-term goal is I am wanting to own a property, whether it's an investment property or actually getting your family over here and yourself over here to move and to live, then the time to get in the market is now, and continue to, like you said, whether you're going to refinance, whether you're going to figure out how to adjust in the future, but the time to buy is now if that really is your long-term goal to be here.
Well, and Amber, it's a good point. How many times I've met people over the 23 years I've been selling real estate here, and they said, "Oh, I should have bought 10 years ago. I should have bought 20 years ago." It's like, well, you didn't, and if you're thinking it's what you want to do, you should just buy when you can afford it. And if that time is now, then you should buy it. I was in the, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I was in the death industry for a long time. I was a funeral director, but I was also a deputy coroner in Will County, just outside of Chicago. Yes, I was. And part of being in that industry, I call it industry, but being a deputy coroner, what I realized was, man, you don't have a guarantee. I would go out on calls. There were untimely deaths for people that would pass away for traffic accidents and homicides and all kinds of crazy stuff, and some just fluke accidents. And I got to a point in my life where I just woke up one day and it's like, I don't want to wake up in Joliet, Illinois anymore. Not that Joliet, Illinois is a bad place, but I had been exposed to Maui and other places, and my wife and I just made the decision. It's like, okay, let's just do this. And it was a function of, I want to wake up where I want to be. And so having that experience was probably one of the most amazing experiences, because I recognize, that we have a slogan that I've used, and life is precious, make it count. And that really, there's real sincere experience behind that. The things that I've seen in my life, I don't watch horror shows anymore in my life because I've seen stuff that were just absolutely crazy. And so somebody was mentioning who was from our area. They lived in New Lenox, the flower shop in Joliet. My aunt and uncle, my parents owned a funeral home, and my aunt and uncle owned a flower shop. So I would hang out in the back of the flower shop with Uncle Bob and Aunt Betty all the time. And my Uncle Bob, he was crazy. He was the days of when everybody smoked. He could stand there and make flower arrangements and smoke a cigarette and have an ash that would be as long as the whole cigarette and never knock the thing off. That was talent. Not a very good one, but anyway, I digress. But I guess my point is to Amber's point, if you're thinking about it, you probably want to step up. Life is short. We don't have a guarantee, and enjoy every minute of it. Then I've taken that journey, and I think living in Maui has been such an awesome experience. Um, and it's changed my perspective on so many things. I still love to travel, and the most amazing thing, I've gone a lot of places now in the country, a lot of places in the world, and when it's time to come home, I'm excited. And that's the coolest thing. Michelle, you started to travel a little bit. You
Yeah,
feel the
I
same?
definitely feel it. Uh-huh. Instead of feeling like, oh, time to go home, it's like, yes, time to
Time to
go
go. That's
home.
it. And you can't really appreciate that until you live here for a little bit. It's like, oh
Mhm.
man, I get it now. We live in one of the most beautiful places in the world, and it's pretty darn cool. So, anyway, I feel like I got a little emotional there.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
You bet. So, Michelle, any other things you want to share? Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else that's happening? What have you been up to? You been dancing much?
Yeah, I've been dancing. There's all kinds of classes in Kahului. They teach bachata Mondays at the Mac, and then there's another place right in the Maui Mall where they teach salsa on Tuesdays. So I've been going there.
Oh, cool. I saw bachata. They were teaching bachata up in Lahaina too somewhere. I saw something.
Yeah, they did start teaching it over in Lahaina on Tuesdays. I don't
Okay,
make it out that way too often.
it's a
You know
long
how
ride.
you know
Yeah,
how us South Mauiers are. We
that's it,
stay on our
man. It's a
side.
million miles away. So, all
Also,
right.
just want to say
Oh,
happy birthday to Stephanie.
oh, that's
Yesterday
right.
was her birthday. And
That's right.
also happy Father's Day, which passed last week.
Hey, that
And
was me.
yeah, and we brought a new listing onto the market. Not sure if we talked about that yet, but
No, we
the
didn't.
beach
No, thanks.
villas.
Wailea Beach Villas, thank you for that. We brought Beach Villas 412, which is a 3-bedroom penthouse building unit, and it's got a spectacular view. You'll be able to find videos on our Instagram. You'll be able to find videos on our YouTube and on MLS. But go check that out. It's a 3-bedroom. It's vacation rentable, $8,950,000, and it's just drop dead gorgeous. So it's a beautiful unit. And oh, Father's Day. So last week I was traveling a little bit, and I ended up buying myself a new toy. I bought myself. Whoever's car people out there, chime in underneath in the comments when you're watching this. But I'm an old car guy, and I bought a 1962 Corvette. It's called a Resto Mod, which has got a new engine in it, new suspension, and I just have been enjoying having that. We've got that in California where I keep it stored, and it's absolutely cool car. So if you want to know about it, let me know, and I'll share some information
And
and
you can
show you some
see it
pics.
on video on our YouTube. We got the car, some footage of the car auction,
Oh, that's right.
and Tom's talking about the car he bought.
Yeah, the car. It was at the Mecum car auction. If you guys are into that kind of stuff, check out our YouTube channel, uh, youtube.com/lifestyle Maui, and we've got a bunch of people. We got over 1,000 subscribers. We'd love to have you guys subscribe as well. Um, and we create all kinds of videos on our content. I mean, on our questions and on real estate, and just sometimes some crazy stuff that we put out there. And the other thing, I've been starting to play a little bit more with Instagram. So if you see some crazy stuff on Instagram under the Tom Tizak Maui Realtor site, you know that, well, I'm sort of being a little bit goofy out there. So anyway, but if you're on Instagram, be sure to try to follow us on Tom Tizak Maui, and we also have one for the team for Lifestyle Maui team. So we'd love to have you. We'd love to connect online on Instagram as well. Boy, a lot of plugs in there, Michelle. Sorry about that.
Yep, follow us everywhere.
All right,
All right,
I'm
we'll see
done.
you
I got
next
nothing else
week.
to say. All right, aloha.